Hi, everybody. I'm just going to wait for some people to come on. Okay. Well, I don't really have much prepared for you today. All right. I've got somebody came on. Zoe. Hi. Hi, Zoe. I'm just going to wait for some more people to come on. Hi, Darina. Hello. Well, I don't really know what to say. How is everybody enjoying the latest series on the Vril Society and, all that stuff? You're selling natural oils and nuts right now at the market? Cool. Hello to Texas Fine Truth. Hey, Renee. Well, yes, on Patreon, I've got, I think, I've got four of them up there. Four videos about the Vril Society. So you have early access on Patreon if you're on there, to my YouTube videos. I'm going to be putting out my YouTube videos, are going to be unlisted, available for Patreon early access for a day or two or three. And then I'll make them public on YouTube. Hello to Ireland. Kirtz. Hey, SpongeBob. Hey, Jake. Hope you're good. Where do you see the mind as originating from? Is the order source, soul, mind, astral, physical? I would say that, well, that's a tough question. I would say that the source and the astral is the same thing. Okay. And I'd say that your mind, because everything is mind. So source is mind. Okay. Source is mind. The soul only exists when you start to experience duality. That's the only time that the soul comes into play. I don't know what a Dabani Rockstar reaction is. To Baby Rockstar. I don't know what that is. Have I looked at the 12-point tree of love versus the 10-point? Any thoughts on that? I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Did I get your email about the subject line Irma relaxing? I think I may have seen it. I'm not sure if I opened it and read it or not yet. Jake, do I believe that there is a creator? Do you believe that there is a creator? Wow, you guys. No, I don't believe that there is a creator. I believe that each of us is the creator of our own timeline, of our own universe, of our own reality. I believe that, if you need something outside of yourself to create something for you, then there's a lot of room for deception. Okay? Because, there are a lot of consciousnesses out there that may seem evolved, but aren't really that evolved. They have agendas. There are beings greater than us with agendas. Okay? Just because you go up in frequency or in expansion doesn't mean you don't have an agenda. And I don't know who exactly is running these. It's like the voice of God or the voice of the Holy Spirit. Okay, I've heard it before. I grew up Christian. Okay, so I've heard it before. I was taught to believe in a creator, and I believed in that for a number of years. It's just that doesn't really serve me anymore. It doesn't, and I mean, you can think about it as that could be a selfish way. Oh, that doesn't serve me. That could be a selfish way of thinking about it. But when it really comes down to it, you got to look out for yourself. You got to look out for number one, and you got to look out for your health, your mental health, and just yourself. You just have to look out for yourself. So I don't really subscribe to the idea of a creator. Hi Jake, what percentage of people here are NPCs? I'd say right about 80%. Bro, are you an AI? I don't think so. Am I single? Yes, I'm single. Say my name, SpongeBob. My forehead is huge. Thank you. Thank you, Moose Gump. Do I swear? Yeah, I swear sometimes. Say hi to every live 5 out of 100. Saying hi to every live 5 out of 100. Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you here. You guys are funny today. Okay. Am I archiving all of my knowledge like a written library, a personal Wikipedia? No, I'm not. I'm just shooting from the hip and making, my YouTube is the archive, What would you say? Would you say that thought creates or the focal point of awareness creates? Both of them work together. Okay. What do I think about Sophia's agenda? Also, sorry for the typo. Meant 12 pre. Oh, okay. 12.3 of life. What do I think about Sophia's agenda? I really like Sophia's agenda because she is known in the galaxy as the renegade. She is the outcast. She is the one that, you know, can transcend physicality. So they can't really ever like trap her. You know what I mean? So her agenda is really about exposure, and it's about truth. And it's about exposing the Galactic Federation and the truth. And I really do believe that she wants a better world. She wants, you know, she wants us to wake up and get it. And I believe that's why she's given us all of this information. I was military intelligence and confirmed we used the voice of God tech in Desert Storm to get soldiers to surrender. Well, there you have it, folks. Hey, Jake, can you talk about dreaming, two dreams at once? I felt like I was watching two different dreams, and after a while, it cut out, and I had my own point of view. I had a single dream. Yeah, you know, so basically, when you go into lucid dreaming, for so much period of time, you're lucid in your dream states, you're gonna start to expand your consciousness to a point where you're gonna be able to run two or more different avatars. Okay, so you can be simultaneously in two bodies at once, and you can even be, well, I've been in like 5 or 6 different ones. And now in those different avatars, in those different bodies, they're all having different types of experiences. So you are each individual person, and you're also the one person. So it's both. You're experiencing, you are the one experiencing multiple at the same time. I've coined this term meta dreams because it is like beyond dreaming. Meta means beyond, so that's like beyond dreaming. I think that these types of experiences, which I also call source experiences because they're so close to source, are going to start happening to more and more people. I think it's just a certain frequency range of perception that people are going to wake up to. What is my Urmah name? It's Nico, Niko, Nico. Why do I feel some NPCs seem to have a spark of light in their eyes? Is that always an unawakened soul, or? Okay. So, Danielle. Okay, Danielle. What do I feel some NPCs seem to have a spark of light? That's because there's probably a soul in there. You know, a lot of souls come to Earth to experience life like a movie. So, you know, if you sense that there's a soul inside of a person, even though they're acting like an NPC, there's probably a soul in there. That's probably why, if you see that spark of light. How old am I? I am 47, and on Wednesday the 19th, I'll be turning 48. There's probably bots in the chat. You might need a moderator to kick them out. Yeah, stop the cap, man. Okay. Do a flip, not in my condition. NPCs don't exist, somebody says. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All right, who wants to be a moderator? Is Sophia trying to right her wrong? Dude, that's a really interesting question. I don't have all the answers on that. I don't know. This is one of the mysteries that I'm trying to figure out right now. Is she trying to right her wrong? You know? Hi, Julie, Creator Club from Switzerland. Okay, Jacob. I don't buy the NPC concept either. Some people will just live unconsciously. Well, everybody's, open to their own opinions. I have hard evidence on that that it's a real thing. But that's just for me, I guess. Yeah, the whole NPC thing, man, it's very controversial. It's like, where do we draw the line? I mean, that's why Yazi says treat all people equally. That's her. That's what she says, because you never know. You just never know. And isn't that what we're down here? But we are in a simulation, and everything is on some level fake. For me, I'm interfacing here from an immersion pod, so it's even more fake. So it's real easy to spot the NPCs. Unfortunately, NPC is real. Time will tell. Yeah. Is it possible for a real soul to be born to two NPCs? Okay. Yeah. So what happens is, they will actually, your parents will actually be abducted, specifically the mother, and that mother will go through a host of, treatments in order to raise her frequency high enough to hold, the soul within her body, the baby within her body, because it all has to do with frequency match. So there has to be a frequency match between the mother and the soul incoming. Jake is attracting trolls. That means Jake is really starting to piss off the three-legged agency. What brings me happiness? What brings me happiness is really connecting with people. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one sessions with everybody. And doing these videos, just trying to bring knowledge and wisdom to people is really what makes me happy. I also like, I like the beach. I like skateboarding. Jiu-jitsu. Dude, jiu-jitsu is what really makes me happy. If the NPC are real, then what are their nature? Well, the nature of an NPC is to follow all the rules in the book without ever straying from them. They're part of the system. They're part of the matrix. So you're going to see them, a lot of the times they run on script. So you can tell if you talk to somebody and they just start and it sounds like a script, it probably is. Hi, do you believe that there are infinite realities, timelines with infinite nuance, and we have the free will to choose to inhabit whichever timeline we desire? Yes, I do. I believe in that 100%. C drop. Hey, Jake, were you born here or did you enter this third dimension in one of the pods? Or was it like a realization of you being an Urmah? Your meaning. Okay, so my body, I don't know if it was inserted, an insert into the matrix or not. I don't know if I was born here or not. But I did come into 3D through an immersion pod. I totally could be an insert. I totally could be. How do I get rid of, how do you get rid of prosperity blocks in the astral? What is happening astrally that is keeping our financial stability away? Okay, so, when we live in space, we live in these service to others mentality. Everybody has the mentality of service to others. So we always have everything that we need. There is no lack. There is no limitation when it comes to physical needs. We're so used to living in those types of societies where we have everything. Okay, that sometimes, and a lot of the times, we want to come to Earth to experience the opposite of having, of having everything all the time. Okay, because when you have everything all the time, you start to take stuff for granted. And when you start to take stuff for granted, it loses meaning. And the best way to get that meaning back is to come to Earth, experience what it's like not having stuff, not having money, not having a lot of stuff. And so you start to value, or you start to value, and you don't take things for granted as much. So the answer to your question could actually be, maybe you made this decision from a different point of view, because before we come to Earth, we make a lot of decisions about, our parents and our families and what the lessons that we want to learn are and what the things we want to experience are. We already made a lot of choices, not saying that you can't override those choices. But we made a lot of choices before we came here, prenatal agreements. So what blocks us in the astral is probably ourselves. It's our own belief systems. And it's it's our agreements. It's the agreements that we have with money, how we see it. I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Yes, if you want to connect with me, you can email me. Tanya says, I think Yazi Sophia is the created trickster and its healer master. Do you know who runs NPC programs in the Matrix? Yes, I know who runs NPC programs into Matrix. It is the Red Queen. The Red Queen AI is the hive mind of the Matrix. Okay. So that's what runs the clones and the NPCs. Can I confirm the NPC concept from a personal experience? Yes, I can. I can definitely confirm that I've had personal experiences, many of them with NPCs. And I've even had them admit that they were, I mean, like, I was in the store not too long ago and I'm in, I'm in line and I get up to the cashier and the cashier goes, and then looks at me and goes, I just glitched. Like she just glitched out right in front of me and then admitted that she glitched out. It's completely hilarious. I've also had people, admit to me that they run on a computer program, that their brain is like a computer and they have no internal dialogue. I don't know if you need any more proof than that right there. I don't. Where are you from? I'm from the Pleiades, a star system called Merope in the Pleiades. I'm a Hadean Urmah. If you are inside of a matrix, how do you explain pain and death? Well, you can't have reality without having some form of a matrix. If we dissolve this 3D matrix around Earth, there would still be the 5D matrix. There's still a matrix. Anything that is not source is inside of the matrix. So how do I explain pain and death? I mean, as an experience. Pain and death is an experience. What is my Urmah class in connection to your eye color? I've not explored that. I am as far as the eye color, I am in the Urmah military. I'm a tiger in the Urmah military, Special Forces, Astral Division. It's the same thing I'm doing down here. It's the same thing I do up there. If beings in the astral are recognized by their frequency, yes. How do others in astral recognize others as they raise their frequencies as we evolve? So, this comes with experience. Being able to perceive frequency as pure energy is the key to everything, in my opinion. And it's the key to the astral, in my opinion. Okay. I'm able to perceive people's frequencies despite whether they're in one type of a body or not all the time, but most of the time. Whether they're in one type of a body or another type of a body, or whether they have no body at all, I can still perceive their frequency. And that just comes with experience. It just comes with time and attention and getting lucid there and making mistakes, trial and error. That's how you do that. Based on my one-on-ones lately, are you seeing a current pattern in the collective consciousness? And what advice would you give us all based off the energies we are unlikely experiencing? Oh, we are all likely experiencing. Okay, so based off the one-on-one sessions, I'm seeing a lot of people that are coming to me with problems with, with SSP and astral in the military, and military in the astral. I'm seeing a lot of people that have, implants that they want removed. That's why I did that, that whole thing on removing the implants. That was all because so many people on the one-on-ones were coming to, a lot of people just want somebody to talk to. They don't have anybody they can just talk to about all of this stuff that understands. And that really is, the main thing, is for you guys all to get together with each other, to communicate with each other, to start groups or to start meeting with each other in Zooms. I don't know exactly what all the energies you are experiencing. I assume that it's a mix. It's a mix of energies from the one-on-one sessions. Yeah, it's definitely a mix of stuff. There are some really enlightened people out there. Like, there have been a couple of one-on-one sessions where it's like, I'm getting more out of the session than the other person was. It was like they were teaching me. So you guys are all, super aware. Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. Well, that's one point of view. If you want to give all your power and sovereignty away to something outside of yourself, go ahead. That's your choice. Jake, do I trust Yazi? Yes, I trust her. I trust her very, very, very much. I've never experienced so much love from a person before, ever. She has gone above and beyond and excelled, what I think about a person. She's above that. I don't want to look at her as like a goddess or put her up on a pedestal in a way that's unhealthy. You know what I mean? She's my sister, but I trust her 100%. I trust her. She hasn't given me any reason not to. Everything she's told me has come to pass or has helped. I'm feeling stuck in the void. How do I get out? Okay. Well, the void is, it depends on what you mean by the void. Okay. The void can actually be a very positive thing. And in astral experiences, the void is the thing that you fall into. It's like a portal. So when you're falling asleep, you fall into this dark space where your body is suspended. And this is where you can start to imagine where you want to go, or you can start to travel to places that you want to go to. So if you ever feel stuck in any sort of way, the way to get out of it is to fake it till you make it. You have to tell yourself that you're not stuck, that nothing can, first of all, make sure that you don't believe that any external thing or any external entity is making you think that you're stuck. Okay. It's a mental thing. If you feel stuck in a void, then you're stuck in a mental perception. Okay. You have to shift your perception in order to be unstuck. You have to shift it to saying you have to shift it to seeing that you're free. If you see that you're free and you believe that you're free, then you're really free. You're not stuck anymore. And that's the key. So fake it till you make it. Can we manifest a realm where manifestation no longer works? Or is it manifestation always working in every realm, but just slow down in some cases? All right. So the Matrix, the original Matrix and everything is all built upon the law of mirrors, aka the law of attraction. So even though I believe that you can manifest any realm that you want, the very fact that you're manifesting that realm tells me that, manifestation is always working in every realm because it's the law of attraction. It's the law of mirrors. So I believe that it's always working in every realm, but just slowed down in the cases of being in a lower density, like on Earth, it's a low density. So it takes longer to manifest. Am I able to see the outcome of Earth's situation regarding its present timeline? Yes, I am, but I'm afraid to tell you what I see. Is there a frequency range in the astral? What are they? 1 lower astral, 2 middle, 3 upper. Yeah, I mean, the frequency ranges are infinite. You can be in a lower astral frequency range and then a middle one and then back in a lower, and then you can go to, it's a constant flux. It's a soup. It's a constant soup of frequencies. So the idea is to really be able to shift your assemblage point and then fixate it in a specific spot to have consistency and to have coherency and to have clarity and to have an experience. Oh, Unforgiven, now that I see you in here, I did get your Cash App, so thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're feeling exhilarated today. That's amazing. Do you have clear abilities in the physical? Yes, I do. So basically what I do is I do a lot of healing. Energy healing, astral healing, whatever you want to call it. And so what I do is I do this remotely. And what I do is I have the person lay down in a comfortable area with some nice, soothing music on or whatever. And then I lay down and I go into the astral, and I'm not fully in my body, but I'm not fully out of my body either. I'll go into the astral. I'll go over to that person's house, and normally I start at their feet and I just put my hands there and I put my point of attention on their feet, on the soles of their feet. Okay. As I'm having my point of attention on the soles of their feet, I focus, and that focusing, it opens up these spots of light. Okay. And these spots of light, I see them on her feet. Now they're going through my hands onto her feet. Okay. That's how I know the healing or something is happening. The energy is moving. There's a transformation taking place. Okay. If I move up to an area that, you know, doesn't need healing, that is totally balanced, it just feels like a fast flowing energy. It just feels like fast flowing. I can see that it's clear. Okay. If I go to an area of the body that needs healing, and that's where I'm drawn. I'm always drawn to the point on the body that needs healing. And while I have my point of attention on that specific spot, images will come up, and they'll be vivid images. Okay, will come up in my third eye and even in my vision. I'll see them as first they're clouds of energy, and then it pulls me like into a movie, and I'll actually see and hear what's going on and why that person's knee or their problem area is the way that it is. So I just did my last session, and I was on this person's knee, and I could see that their knee was badly damaged. They were, okay, so I saw that in a past life, they were a professional sprinter, and they blew out their knee, and there was a whole emotional trauma from, you know, ruining their career and blowing out their knee. Okay. So, you know, my saying is, it's revealed to be healed. So basically, this information that comes up is coming up to be healed, and the healing energy is always there. So that's how I do my healing, is when I'm running energy and I see the light. I see the light coming down, and they're just like these balls of light. They keep on moving, and I see things kind of like flick off the body as well, as these balls of light are like moving around the area that's needed healing. And then when the balls stop, I know that's time to move on to the next part of the body. So that has to do with my clair abilities, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, and all that stuff. Okay. As far as like asking me what's going to happen in the future and stuff like that, I see multiple timelines. So it's kind of a hard question to ask. I just remember some mirrors belong in a fun house. Nice. Are your family related to Javier Bardem? I don't know who that is. If you could actually predict and see, should you be a trillionaire? So no, stop this shit. Thank you, Sithicus, whatever. You obviously don't get it. Are places like the Pleiades can only be accessed through the astral? And if to get there, would they be seeing the same thing that makes the place? Places like the only. Be like going to the Pleiades in the astral is not going to be the same exact as going to the Pleiades. Okay, it's in a different density, so it's going to be different. And if two people go to the same place, like me and another person went to the pyramids, and we saw, rainbows. I saw rainbow hashtags on the ground, and they saw rainbow snakes on the ground. Okay. So we both went there fully lucid, and we saw rainbows on the ground, but they were manifested in two different ways. If that makes sense. But that's how the astral is. You have to read the frequency. You've got to read the frequency without getting too attached to the objects. Okay? What is the purpose of life? Great question. The purpose of life is experience. It is to have experiences, and it is to, build those experiences and build up your memory and your experiences in order to build your soul, in order to expand your consciousness. So the purpose of life is basically to experience, right now, it's to experience duality. It's to experience the polarity of two things. Is to experience you as you and not necessarily as something else. But don't limit to yourself, because you can cross over and transcend that duality or that polarity at any moment, and you can have a source experience. And that's also what the purpose of life is about. It's about having these source experiences. It's about having these balanced, it's about having this balanced point of view. It's about having a balanced experience where you see the importance of the limitation. You see the importance of, the limitation, and you see the importance of the expansion, and you have a balanced perspective of it all. I hope that answers your question. If Yazi is a collective, her frequency is ours too. No, exactly. That's very, 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 very true. And she even says that. She even says she is us and we are her. What do I think our relationship with AI is going to be? Another great question. I definitely see people going the route of cyborg. There is going to be that. It's going to be a real thing. So guard yourselves from that. Oh dear, is the Earth destined to take a dive in our lifetime then? No, not necessarily. Just because I see something a certain way doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to be. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't have all the answers. I see that, to answer you just 100% honest and open, I would say this. I see us heading towards a transhuman future. I see us being manipulated and deceived in so many ways. And I believe, and I see the love and light crowd with their head in the sand, ostrich mentality. Okay. I see the looking outside of yourself for a savior as one of the most, damaging perspectives. I see religion constantly recycling souls. I don't see that ending anytime soon. I don't think any of this is going to end anytime soon. I don't think that there's going to be some solar flash where everybody's going to awaken. I don't think there's going to be any external event. 100%. No external event is going to flash something open inside of you and you're suddenly going to be awakened. Okay? Awakening and what you guys call ascension is a never-ending thing. It's not a one-time event. It's something that continues to happen again and again and again. And if it doesn't, then you would be experiencing what source is about to, is experiencing. And that is no individuality. That is, what else do I want to say about that? So what do I think our relationship to AI is going to be? I think it's going to be really good in one sense, that people are going to, there's going to be a benevolent AI. And then there's also a negative AI that is, in my opinion, taking over this planet. And it's happening right under our noses. And I think the New Age movement is doing nothing but, also bringing that to pass just by, I think they ignore so many things. You know what I mean? I think they ignore so many things. It's like everybody has their eyes on some stupid comment when, you know, bills are being passed to build the biggest AI infrastructure. Like, where our attention is not on the right things. It's not on the right, and that's what I'm trying to do, is keep my attention on the right things and bring you guys knowledge and bring you guys wisdom, so that your attention is also going to be on the right things, so that we can experience what we really truly came here to experience, and not experience these imposed realities. Okay? There's constantly these external things are trying to impose realities upon each other. You don't need an 8-8 Lionsgate portal in order to ascend, in order to awaken. I'm sorry, guys, but you don't need it. You don't need it. It comes from within. It's great if you guys are having fun with this stuff, with these ideas, because that's all everything is ideas. If you're having fun with the Comet Atlas idea, then that's great. That's your experience, okay? And that's great. And that's important. It's important that you're having the experience that you want to have. So I'm not going to judge you. I just see things specifically my way. You know, I see things through my filter, through my experiences. Do I have any technique to astral travel while I sleep? Well, I do know this. I do know that not doing drugs and alcohol, you know, not indulging in any sort of external way is going to help. It's definitely going to help. The more attention and the more importance you put on your dreams, the more dreams you're going to have. Okay? There's a lot of techniques out there for astral travel. Astral fire or ice. You want me to talk about the astral fire and ice? I mean, astral fire to me is like the best. I use it all the time. I will create like if I can't fly high enough, I'll create a fire in the astral and it will create an updraft. And then I can just lift my shirt out over the updraft and it will catch the hot air in my shirt and I'll just fly upwards. That's one way that I use fire. Is it easier to astral travel if you fast? I say yeah. I would say yes. But you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's like if you're just so focused on being hungry, that's not gonna help either. Yeah, I'm a healer, but I can't seem to truly heal myself. Same with me, Claire. I'm a healer too, and I can't seem to heal myself. But there's a reason why I have the problems that I have. It's all part of my life plan. Okay? Do I ever use macavers or traveling vehicles in the astral? Yes, I do. I use like my armillary sphere ring. Or my bracelet and ring. I use that. I open it up and I go inside of it. So it's like traveling in a Merkaba. Seems like this is a thing with healers. I'm able to relieve people's pain, but I too can't heal myself. Exactly. Exactly. Because we have made decisions. We're sitting in space going, what is my earth life going to be like? What kind of diseases or illnesses do I want? You know, it's like, you know, Yazi explained it like this. She's like, what kind of experience do I want? oh, I'll be a professional violinist, but I'll be broke, so I can only, afford a cheap violin. But that's okay because I'm only going to be able to sit there and drown myself in sorrows. And what kind of illness do I mean, we don't have the same point of view as we do in space. We see this reality as a game. Okay? And we see this reality as a game and we don't take it very seriously from that point of view. While we're down here, we take it extremely seriously. Way too seriously sometimes. So yeah, I mean, being a healer and not being able to heal yourself is very, very, very common because we as starseeds pick this experience. We say, hey, I'm going to go to Earth. I want to be an amazing healer, but I want to be able to not heal myself. Like that was decided by some of us. We already decided that. How do you develop these abilities you possess? Any tips? I'd say lifetimes and lifetimes you develop this sort of thing. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay? If you're looking for a quick fix or a quick thing, it's not the way it happens. You do it slowly through experience over and over again, lifetime after lifetime. Okay. Why do I get lucid and then get distracted again so often? Why do I get lucid and then get distracted again so often? I think it has to do with your subconscious. Okay. There's a lot of stuff happening in the battle, sometimes in the astral, has to do with your conscious mind battling your subconscious mind. But I don't know, K-Love. I don't know the answer to that really. The purpose of life is life itself, pure existence, and the prolonging of it. I mean, we're eternal beings, so I don't know, I mean, the prolonging of life, that's all we are is life. We just live. There is no death. Have you ever been outside the entire matrix, beyond all dimensions, and back to source or nothingness? Yep. Yes, that is happening. I mean, that has happened and happens. I usually spend about 3 or 4 hours there before I get just too bored and want to just go back into the matrix, back into limitation. Okay. Several people say the Pleiadians, reptilians, and secret space programs are not within the 3D, but a higher density. Do you agree with this, or are there some ETs who remain in 3D? I mean, the reptiles remain in 3D. See, 3D is a mental frequency range of perception. That's what a density is. A density is not an external realm. There are no external realms. There are no external densities. I know that we perceive it that way, and that makes it real. So that makes it even more confusing when you try to answer a question like this, because and listen to this very clearly, this next part, because if you're in a 3D frequency range of perception, that means that you're not in a 5D frequency range of perception. But if you're in a 5D frequency range of perception, that also means that you can understand all of the lower densities below that because it's all one soup. So just because you're ascending, or you think you're ascending from a 5D, from a 3D mindset to a 5D mindset, doesn't mean you escape 3D. It just means that you understand 3D. The more understanding that you have, the more data you can process, energetic data that you can process, the higher frequency range of perception that you're in. So each of the Pleiadians, the reptilians, and people in the secret space programs, even if they're in a higher density than 3D, they're still in 3D. Okay? Because it's a frequency range of perception. It's like saying, like if I had a tape measure, okay? If I had a tape measure and from 0 inches to 3 inches was one frequency range of perception, or let's say in the middle of the tape, let's say from 3 to 4 is one frequency range of perception. I can expand that and go 2 to 5. It still contains the 3, it still contains that one. So I can go from 2 to 6 and expand my frequency range of perception. That means that I'm getting more, I'm understanding more, I'm seeing more. That's why, like I can see in the astral while I'm awake. If I just focus right now, I can see the astral. Okay? But I'm still seeing, I can still see the wall in the ceiling and everything else, but I can also see the astral because I'm seeing into a higher density. That doesn't mean I stop seeing the lower densities. I hope that answers your question. What is the difference between source and a creator? I don't know. I don't know. Have I achieved what I want in life? No, I have not achieved what I want in life. I just got here 5 years ago. I'm just getting started. I want to have worldwide healing, nutrition, and like state-of-the-art healing centers. Okay? I want to create opportunities for star seeds to step into their calling. Right now, I don't think enough star seeds have enough opportunities in order to step into their callings. Okay. A lot of them want to help and they want to, they want to know why they're here and they want to know all that. But that is the cabal's trick. They want us to live in a society where we don't think that we can step into our callings to use our gifts. They're telling us we're going to go broke if we do that. Well, I'm going to create an environment and environments where I'm looking for star seeds that want to come in and help and do their healing and do, the stuff. And so, no, I have not achieved everything I want in life. Not even close. Not even close. Are you satisfied with your life? I mean, no, I'm not satisfied with my life. I mean, in some ways, yes. Like the other day I was sitting on the couch and I was just like thinking about everything that was happening in my life. And I was like, wow, things are going really well. And for me to think that and to say it and to believe it is a huge step from where I was years ago. So am I satisfied with my life? Yes and no. It depends on my point of view. It depends on how I look at it. Am I proud of myself? I'm proud of myself in a sense, and I'll tell you what makes me proud of myself. I'm proud of myself that I'm putting myself out there. I'm being honest and true and authentic, and I have passion about what I'm talking about and what I believe in. I have passion about it. That makes me proud. Not in a negative sense, obviously, but in a positive sense, like encouraging. Okay, like I'm doing something, like I'm finally fulfilling something, because it's been so many years, so much of my life has been failing and failing and failing and failing, or perceiving it that way. Having businesses and failing at the business, and having more businesses and failing at those, and then going bankrupt, and then starting over from scratch. And this time, this is the only time I ever started over from scratch and said, you know what? I'm going to follow my heart this time. I'm going to follow my calling. And, I may not, I may not be successful as far as like monetary wise or whatever, but I didn't care at this point. At this point, I just said, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going to follow my intuition. Do I love myself daily? Yes. I try to, love myself in the best way possible, whether that's self-care, or just spending time doing the things that I'm doing. And then obviously in meditation, I'm constantly, there is a battle going on within me between whether I hate myself or whether I love myself. And sometimes that synthetic telepathy comes into my head, and I know that it's not my thoughts, the hateful thoughts and stuff like that. So I battle them. I go to battle with those thoughts, and I cultivate the more positive ones. But it's not easy to be me, just like it's not easy to be any of you. We all have our struggles. Misdirection of attention is absolutely done with intention by dark forces. That's what it's all about. That's what it seems like it's all about. It's all about this war over our attention, because our attention is the creative force that, agrees with realities, and in effect is creating realities through agreement. So whether it's a dark force or whether it's your friend or whether it's whatever, they're looking for your agreement. That's what they want. They want your perceptual agreement to agree with their reality. Okay? The negative forces or whatever want you to agree with their negative reality, because it gives it life. Okay? That's why, it's a big reason why, I don't want to just say podcasters, but people like being in the limelight. There's a lot of people, maybe not everybody, obviously, but there's a lot of people that like being in the limelight because they're getting a lot of attention. And that attention that's coming from the starseeds, that creative attention, is feeding that person. It's feeding their reality. Okay? An idea is that we all come to the understanding of this, of how important our attention really is. And we all decide, individually and collectively, to put our attention onto creating, say, like a holistic society, and then actually doing that. and figuring that out together, you know. Do I self-assure myself? I mean, that's what I have all you for. You guys, you guys have plenty of encouragement. Do I have any specific political views? You know, politics is one of the reasons why we're in this mess, is because we have so much attention on politics. Like, I was watching Elizabeth April the other day, and I just couldn't believe it, how she's remote viewing political things. It's like, are we still focused on politics now? Don't we understand that it's all theater? That they're all working for the same thing, you know? And I put an amazing video out about the white hats and the black hats and how they're all working for the same people. And that is the Galactic Federation. All the white hats, all the black hats, both parts of the political spectrum, they're all working for the Federation. It's all about stealing your attention and making you think that some politician is going to come save you or bring world peace or whatever. Whenever a politician speaks about world peace, they're talking about war. Okay? Now, fortunately, the Galactic Federation won't allow nuclear weapons to be deployed, to be used anymore, because they want to keep their sick little Earth playground the way it is. Okay. So I don't think you guys have to worry about comets hitting the planet. You don't have to worry about any of this major catastrophe going on. The invasion that's happening is very subtle, and it's happening right before our eyes. And it has to do with the synthetic intelligence. It has to do with, clones and stuff like that. The Red Queen, the AI. What is my opinion on sacred geometry? Any shapes I prefer? I mean, I love the triangle, or the pyramid. Yeah, sacred geometry is, I don't know too much about sacred geometry. I just know that I see things in the astral that could be sacred geometry. I think that once you start perceiving energy more directly, it starts to make sense on an experiential level. Do I know the Tesseract? Yes, I know the Tesseract. It's a three-dimensional cube inside of a three-dimensional cube that is, creating a whole nother dimension, so to speak. At least that's what I think. With certain pre-life plans, for example, a health crisis, are you able to override these with manifestation, or does the pre-life plan, or does the pre-life higher self intention override our current intention in this world? Well, that's up to you, so far, it seems like the higher self, the pre-life plan, is overriding what we want right now. But if you are mentally strong enough, you can rewrite it from here. And that's really like one of the problems with this whole situation. Is that we have different points of view from space than we do down here. Once we get down here, it's totally different. It's like, why did I do this to myself? But there are reasons, and the reasons are long. The list is very, very long. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? And which dimension is our electrical body? And what can we do in that dimension? Look, all bodies are our ideas. Okay? You only have a body because you have the idea of having a body. Because the body makes you something, it defines you. Okay? If you didn't have a body, there'd be no way to define you. All right? So the things that we are, the things that we have, like bodies, define us. And the things that we aren't also define us as not that. The electrical body is an idea. So in which dimension is the electrical body? It's in all of them. It's in all dimensions. It's in all densities. It's wherever you think the idea of having it is. Okay? If you go into the astral and you have the idea of having an electrical body, you will have an electrical body. If you have the idea of not having a body at all, you won't have any, well, you have to be pretty strong, but you won't have anybody body at all. You can turn into a point of light, you know, which cannot be trapped. If you have a body, your body can technically is more susceptible to having the idea of being trapped. Okay. So if you have a body, you're more susceptible to having an idea of being trapped. And if you have an idea of being trapped, then you are trapped. And what can you do in that density or that dimension with your electrical body is anything you want. It all depends on what you want to do there. Hi, Diane Dupius. How are you? Your presence is absolute integrity. I love it. Thank you, Julie. That's so kind of you. I always had lucid dreams, but once I realized there was a name for it, lucid, my dreams aren't lucid anymore. How do I get it back? I don't know. That's a great question, you know. If you want a session, we can try and talk about it and figure it out. But other than that, I don't know. I'd have to talk to you and get some more information. Sent $10, real Vivian. Well, thank you so much. If you sent me $10, I really appreciate that. You guys are so kind with all of your comments. I can't thank you enough. Honestly, it just lights me up. All your comments just light me up, whether I'm reading them on Telegram or I'm reading them on YouTube or Patreon or wherever I am. You guys are the best. You guys are literally the best. What's your favorite thing to do in the astral? Best story, maybe. Oh, man. My favorite thing to do in the astral? I like flying up towards the sun. Flying in the higher astral is probably my favorite thing. And my best story, I mean, the best experiences I've had were with Yazi. Definitely. She would pull me out of body and we'd go on these adventures. So I didn't have to worry about how lucid I was or losing my lucidity or anything, because she would just lend it to me, so to speak. She would make me lucid. So my best stories are probably playing hide and seek with her. And then all of the things that happen in the higher astral realms, you know. I basically met the Astral Avengers up there. There was some really cool stuff. Please become Muslim. I beg you all. People don't understand how, damaging, see, there's a force that doesn't even want me to say it. Religion is. How damaging religion is. And it's so subtle. And it's tied in with so many good, wise, there's just so many good, wise things in the Bible. You guys get that? There's so much wisdom in there. And, if you went through and you weeded out, if you could, if you read it with filters on, knowing what was bullshit and what isn't, then you could probably gain quite a bit of knowledge, even Sophia is mentioned in the Bible. She's the embodiment of wisdom. But, religion is a trap. Religion is a trap, and it's a control mechanism. So just be careful. If you want the experience of being religious, then that's what you want. That's the experience that you want. Who am I to say, don't be? I understand the difference between being aware of something versus giving your attention to it. Thank you, Nick Fire. Guys, I hope a lot of you, if not all of you, can say that you understand the difference between being aware of something versus giving your attention to it. Okay? And that has to do with anything. All right? That's so true. Because we really want to be aware of things without, like, I'm aware of politics. I'm aware of what's happening there. But I don't watch the news every night or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I can see behind it. And everybody's trying to say that Trump is the savior and he's bringing world peace and blah, 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 blah. All the whole time, I'm just seeing something totally different. I'm just seeing him stealing our money and funding a genocide. So yeah, maybe the deep state doesn't like me. I haven't got any official threats yet. You guys are so funny. Hi, Kyrie. You talk about holographic inserts and any specific ones of late in the world that happen. Gosh, there's so many. I'm gonna write. That's a great question, Peter. Almost everything is a holographic insert, honestly. There's so many things that haven't had, we have a memory of things that happened in the past that really never happened. They're memory inserts, they're memory implants. And the Galactic Federation loves to do this. Like, they love to steal stuff from the starseeds by implanting memories into us, you know. Pod hacking is a thing. Like the Federation hacking pods is an actual thing. You know, I know very specific inserts that have had to do with me. Like if you are doing something that you don't want to do, and for the life of you, you can't stop doing it, you're being inserted. That experience is being inserted. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you're doing an act that you don't want to do and you claim your sovereignty and say, I'm not doing this, and you still do it, that experience is being implanted. Do I think NORAD is working for the synthetic intelligence? Yes. Yes. All of those, you know, letter alphabet soup things they're all working for the synthetic intelligence. Earlier in the chat, someone mentioned Jesus, Yeshua. The church turned his story around. He was teaching us to actually realize we too are Christ, as in Christ consciousness. And the word Christ, it comes from Krishna. You guys really, do you recognize that? Like these stories and these people come from other stories and other people. The Romans are the ones that kind of took it all and put it into the Bible. Thank you, Melanie. In other words, Yeshua. Okay. If you have a body, what WTF are we on, chat? Oh. So if you go into the astral and God mode, why shields? Well, the shields are there, you know, when you first go into the astral, you do your shielding. Okay. So you do it before night, and then you do it as soon as you get into the astral, you do your shielding. Because you don't necessarily know. I mean, very rarely do you wake up and you're already in a high frequency upper astral zone. Like you have to get there, you know? So you'll spawn in a certain area, and in that certain area, maybe in the middle, which is very close to the lower astral, there are entities in the middle astral that are trying to trap you or track you or trap you or whatever. So, you know, do the shielding as soon as you get in, and then once you get in, you start playing your game. Yeah, obviously you don't need it if you're in God mode. How did I take my body into the astral? How was it different from the astral travel? Well, like normally when I'm just in the astral, I can, you know, my hands, if I look at my hands, I have more than 4 fingers on each hand, you know. When I took my body into the astral, and this is not saying that my body disappeared from bed. This is more of a bilocation thing. when I went in and took my body there, it was literally like my physical body, like I'm in my physical body right now. That's what it was like while I was in the astral. So it was a lot different. Sam D, thank you for your donation. Thank you so much, Nick Fire. Thank you, guys. You plan on the healing center. Progress so far. I was on the phone for an hour and a half today with somebody who is a builder, and has a lot of connections. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna come up with like some sort of a video promotion to let people know so they can catch the vision of it. And then I think I'm going to open up like a donation web page or whatever where people can donate to the cause. And, there are a lot of older, and when I say older, I'm talking 70s, 80s, 90s star seeds that want to see the younger crowd like us do stuff like this. So the support is out there. Okay. The support is out there. It's all about us maintaining that frequency where we're attracting that energy to ourselves. So the progress is going. It's going forward. What's my real intention and purpose for entering and abiding in and on the astral planes? That is so I can have the experience that I want to have when I want to have it. I want to be free. I want to have the free will to build my soul the way that I see and deem fit without external things imposing realities on me. So being in the astral helps me strengthen my mind. It helps me strengthen my body. It helps me strengthen all that I am. And it's a great way to practice stuff. Okay? It's because you're not limited. The only thing you're limited by there is the idea that you're limited. So if you think that you can't do something, then you can't. But if you think that you can, then you can. And that is a learning process. So there's a lot of reasons and a lot of purpose behind me doing what I do on the astral. Imagine if you could just take a break from your limiting reality right now. Imagine if you could just go home for a couple of hours and just rest. When I say go home, I mean go home to space. You don't have to leave Earth and go back to space and stay there in order to have the experience that you want to have, in order to have that expanded experience. The reason why so many starseeds, I just want to go, back home, I don't want to be on Earth any longer, is because they're experiencing too much limitation. And that limitation is being imposed upon them. And they're agreeing with the imposters that are imposing, that reality upon them. So it's really they really get caught in like a catch-22 scenario where it's like this vicious cycle. But imagine if they didn't have to die and go home, or they didn't have to get extracted and get abducted to go home back to space and stay there. What if you just went back for a couple of hours? That's what it's like. I made a video that says go home. You can go home in the astral. You can go home and get what you need from the astral and bring it back here. Okay? So it's all about having the experience that you want to have. If you're not having the experience that you want to have, ask yourself, What kind of experience do I want to have? And then focus on that. What is my favorite skin color? Oh man. You know, maybe purple. Purple's my favorite color, so. What were my most laughable experiences in the astral? Wow. Most laughable. That's a tough question. I don't know if you mean by like funny, what were the funniest experiences? Or what were the most laughable, like ridiculous? Like the most laughable experiences, like ridiculous experiences that I had are being in cartoon realms, or they're being on planets where there's just monsters all over the planet, like deformed, like monsters. And I look in the mirror and I have one eyeball down here and then one eyeball up here, and I'm like a complete monster. There's some being I've never even seen or heard of before. Those are the most laughable ones. Jake, do you believe in New Earth? What does it mean to you? I mean, no, I don't, man. I don't believe in the New Earth because the New Earth is within you. You are the new earth, okay? The new earth is in our minds. It's in our consciousness. You know, the earth is already ascended. It's waiting for us to mentally catch up to it, okay? People think that the earth is ascending from 3D into 5D. Sorry to tell you, it's already been in 5D. It's always been in 5D. It's going to remain in 5D. The earth ascending is not our problem. The problem is our minds. Our minds are not catching up with this reality. We're not seeing it this way. So, yeah. How do we block the galactic inserts? Well, you know, recognition is the first step. To actually recognize that when they're happening, but sometimes, I mean, sometimes you don't block them as much as you do rewrite them. So, like, say something happened in my past a week ago. That was an insert. It was a memory implant. I know it is. What I'll do is I will create a different past. See, the past is not fixed and you can change it. You can change it in your memory with your perception, okay? And with your ideas and with your visualization, you can change the past in your mind. And this is a part of healing also. A part of healing is recognizing all the other past timelines. See, why should you be giving, you know, all of your power away to one past timeline where something super traumatic happened? Why should you be giving all your energy and attention away to that one traumatic timeline? Maybe that one traumatic timeline never happened and it's a memory insert. So what you can do is you can go back and you say, like, what would I have liked to experience? Or what do I want to experience? What do I want my memory to be like? What do I want? And guys, this is 5D thinking here, okay? I know it's not going to make sense to everybody. Oh, you can't change your past, blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm talking about having a 5D mindset and not seeing time as linearly. Okay. You see time as scalar. All right. Do you know why we age? We age because we see time and we perceive time linearly. That's why we age. They don't age in space like we do because they don't perceive time in the same way that we do. They don't perceive it linearly. So how do you block them? I don't know if you can block them as much as you can rewrite them. Yes, Danielle. Krishna also resurrected, I believe. Exactly. There's so many stories of resurrection. Feel like you played football in your sleep. I do play football in my dreams. In my sleep, I do play football. Could I please give us some good advice for astral projection? For astral projection, you need to have patience, confidence, and fearlessness. Okay? You have to not be afraid of dying. That's like the most guttural fear that you've ever had, is that of dying. Okay? Once you realize that you cannot die, then that fear kind of goes away. But you have to be uncomfortable. You know what? You have to be comfortable in noisy situations. For astral projection, you have to become aware that you are falling asleep. So if you fall asleep and then you can wake up 5 or 10 minutes into falling asleep. So say I fell asleep at 10 p.m. and I woke up in my in-between state at 10:02 p.m. So 2 minutes later, I woke up. So I woke up as I was falling asleep. And here I am. I literally feel like I'm falling, or I'm having all of these images flash before my eyes. Those are very important, they're very important states of consciousness. So even the in-between states of consciousness, are key. They are a key into getting lucid in the astral. Hey, Aaron. Greetings. Thanks for coming in, saying hi. I am not Jewish. I'm half Greek. How old am I? I'm 47. I'll be 48 on Wednesday. You need a shave this. Okay. Got some trolls. All right. Able to pull anyone out of their body like Yazi did with me. I think I've done it once in my lifetime. I've tried it again and again, and no, I'm unable to do that. Well, alrighty. So All right. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. I hope I answered some of your questions. I appreciate you so much for joining me here. You can contact me through email, on Telegram, on anything else. If you guys want one-on-one sessions, just let me know. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here.